Thank you, ladies. Now, on the 19th of August, very sad news broke about the tragic passing of a legendary British film director, Tony Scott, who committed apparent suicide off the Vincent Thomas Bridge. Now, some of his most famous movies included Man on Fire, Enemy of the State, Beverly Hills Cop 2, and even one of my favorites, Top Gun. And we thought it good to do a bit of a tribute to this amazing director this morning. And with us, we have Nadia van der Merwe for a quick glance into his life and also a bit of his work. Very sad news, though, for the whole film world.
Yeah, it is very sad. He was the brother of the other British director, Ridley Scott, who is probably more famous for movies like Gladiator and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But Tony Scott was a very good director in his own right. He made a lot of movies that people might not know that were their favorite movies that he made. He's one of those names that you don't really know the director, but you definitely know the movie.
Yeah.
He worked a lot with Jerry Bruckheimer. That was one of the people who launched his career and asked him to direct Top Gun. And he made that kind of type of action movie with a lot of like testosterone-filled, male-driven movies.
Yeah.
He made a lot of movies that really spoke to the general public. Critically, wasn't it not necessarily well received always, but you know, he made movies for the people who actually bought the tickets to go see the movies.
Yeah.
He was a really amazing guy. A lot of critics kind of felt that his movies didn't have enough meat or enough story, but he was really an amazing guy.
He was brilliant. What was the reaction from the film community when they heard of his passing?
Well, the reaction was obviously very sad. Most people were shocked. A lot of people who actually worked with him had no idea that he might. Well, obviously, they don't know what the reason was for his apparent suicide. There was speculation that it was a brain tumor, but those reports were denied by his family, so no one knows for sure. But a lot of people were very shocked. People like Tom Cruise, especially, who worked with him a few times, and Denzel Washington, who made 5 movies with him. They all went on Twitter or made public statements saying that it's a complete tragic loss.
Crazy. Well, speaking about Twitter, we have a couple of Twitter comments from the stars. Ben Stiller said Tony Scott made so many movies that influenced so many others, a genre to himself, a real loss. He entertained so many people. And then we have Robert Rodriguez, who also said, Tony Scott, damn, great knowing you, buddy. Thanks for the inspiration, advice, encouragement, and the decades of great entertainment. Samuel L. Jackson said, taking a moment to reflect on Tony Scott's life and work, my sympathies to his family and feelings of loss. And then just one more. Tom Cruise said, Tony was my dear friend and I will really miss him. He was a creative visionary who's made his mark in the film world, which is, man, Tom Cruise, he goes back a long way with Tony Scott. But what were some of those movies that, you know, that really stood out for people, even if they didn't know even it was Tony Scott movies?
He made amazing movies. His first film was The Hunger, but then obviously came Top Gun, the big one. After Top Gun, he made a string of amazing movies. His first movie with Denzel Washington was Crimson Tide, but obviously Top Gun, as we see on there now, it's just one of those films that you can't. When you're a boy and you're small, that is the ultimate movie.
It was one of my favorites. I wanted to be
Maverick,
there.
Iceman. You know, you wanted that. It's completely one of those movies that you can't not like it. He made Domino, he made Unstoppable, he made Deja Vu, he made Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. He made all those amazing, really action blockbuster movies that kind of, you don't, it gets into your psyche in a way that you're not necessarily aware of. And they're Domino on screen now. It's one of those. I said he made male-driven movies, but that was one of the many, one of the few actually female-driven movies, and they're true romance. That was the first film one of the first screenplays that Quentin Tarantino wrote.
Oh wow!
And he gave Tarantino like a shot at stardom because he made one of the movies, and Beverly Hills Cop.
Awesome. Well, earlier you said his trademark was action movies. Really good with that. But just lastly to wrap it up, what was he busy with at the time of his death?
At the time of his death, lately he's been working a lot in television. Together with his brother Ridley, they produced the TV show Numbers, big hit in South Africa as well, and they produced The Good Wife. With Juliana Margulies, which was an amazing TV series. But there were also talks that he was working on Top Gun 2. apparently him and Tom Cruise have been location scouting.
Wow.
And but no one knows if it was going to be made or what the deal was going to be. But there was talks of a sequel to Top Gun, which would have been, I think personally, I don't think that would have been necessary because Top Gun as a movie, as a classic, iconic movie, is enough.
Exactly.
But they were that's the
that's the deal.
The
Awesome, Nadia. Thank you so much for shedding some light. Wow, later on we're going to be talking about a very cool movie though, Ted.
Yeah.
Right, with Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, exactly. That's the reaction you're going to get as well. But Tony Scott, rest in peace, man. He was really a visionary. We'll see you guys after the break.